Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks and I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I am just over 2 hours removed from attending Arizona State's Tuesday practice in preparation for a massive game against the Utah squad that Kenny Dillingham, Brian Ward, and others have really done nothing but talk good of in terms of who the opponent is, what the opponent does, and everything else that has to do with the matchup. Kenny Dillingham has so much respect for Kyle Whittingham, who has been at Utah for over 20 years now. He is the second longest tenured head coach in all of college football, at the FBS level at least. Only Kirk Ferentz at Iowa has served a longer time at one school. And he just has the program humming at a level that it hasn't hummed before, really. He really found a way to expand on what Urban Meyer built up in his short time as head coach of Utah. And this year's Utah team, we've talked about it, they're going to present challenges that previous teams haven't really tested Arizona State yet. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what Brian Ward had to say, a little bit about what Sam Leavitt had to say after practice today, and really harp over the fact that this is going to be a very, very unique game that is to come. First off, I really wanted to talk about how Arizona, you might have seen it on social media, but Arizona State did some unique things to prepare for the Utah game today. The main thing was that they put moisture on the footballs when they snapped, whether it was special teams or offense. They were putting moisture on the balls because there is a high chance that there is rain during the time of the game. The game's supposed to kick off at 8:15 Utah time, which is Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, so that's really the most interesting thing that they did in terms of quirks. But it's much easier said than done when it comes to preparing for Utah. Coach Dillingham did say last week and this week that it's virtually impossible to completely game plan for an offense that is talented to the level that Utah is and is structured to the way that Utah is. They really don't lend much opportunity, much leeway to create negative yard plays. Devin Dampier's growth as a passer adds a completely new element to the offense. Their tight end has broken out this year. There's a lot of things to like. They have Caleb Olomu and Spencer Fano, who are two first-round level tackles on the offensive line. So it's going to be very difficult for Clayton Smith, Prince Dorbut, Elijah O'Neal, and the rest of the crew off the edge to get to Dampier. There's very real possibility that they're going to have to use Keyshawn Elliott or Jordan Crook as a spy on Devin Dampier. Baylor and TCU, don't get me wrong, those were major challenges because Sawyer Robertson and Josh Hoover are probably the two best quarterbacks not named Sam Leavitt in the conference. But they also opened the door for a lot of negative yard plays to be generated by defenses. They are explosive offenses, but they aren't quite structured in the manner that Utah is. And they don't have quarterbacks that are as mobile as Devin Dampier. So it really is an entirely new world that Arizona State is climbing into this week. And to close out today's show, I wanted to talk about Sam Leavitt, some of the things that he had to say. And the first thing was talking about the potential for inclement weather in Salt Lake City. He was asked about that and if it would affect him at all, how comfortable he is throwing in wet weather. He really just said that he feels comfortable throwing in rainy weather with a wet ball. But because he grew up in Oregon, Oregon's one of the rainiest states in the United States. So, yeah, that's something. But he also said that he does change things up a little bit when rain is involved, but he's still comfortable. What else did he say? He said that he was asked what key factors they need to do to implement to finish drives out because the red zone has been a point of concern a little bit for the Arizona State offense in recent weeks. Uh, Sam Leavitt has really been the major proponent of we could be doing better in those situations. We could have scored 45 points against TCU. We could have scored 45 points against Baylor, but they just didn't because they fell short on the goal line scenarios too many times. And he said, yeah, we had a couple of protection errors. We have to be more disciplined in our route running and have to fit certain balls into windows better. So he took accountability himself. We know that Sam Leavitt is his own biggest critic, and he's talking about how he scrambles too much as well. There are certain things that he knows he needs to do better. Although Kenny Dillingham did praise his work in structure during Monday's press conference, there are certain things that they could do a little better, certainly as an offense. I believe that they also need to find a solid conclusion as to how to approach the running situation on the goal line because Raleek Brown, although he does have a rather small stature, he runs a lot like Cam Scadaboo does. He's very, very strong, deceptively strong. Kyson Brown hasn't really gotten his footing back since he returned, but he's always a factor. He's very, very talented all around. Maybe even Kanye Udo gets into the mix as well. He's the more traditional downhill running back, especially against the Utah defensive line that is as disciplined as they are when it comes to tackling. That's as good as anybody when it comes to creating gap integrity, when it comes to anticipating plays. Maybe Kanye Udo factors in there. That's not out of the question in my mind. I'm not. That's just me speculating. I don't know anything. So we'll see what happens there. And the last thing that I wanted to discuss before we get off of today's episode is what Sam Leavitt had to say about dealing with expectations. So I believe it was Nick King of Channel 12 that asked him about his Heisman aspirations and if he paid attention to that at all, or he has recently. And he was really open. He was saying early in the season, I was thinking about the Heisman talk, the national awards being talked about in the same light as other elite quarterbacks. And it did affect me a little bit. He was talking about how he wasn't playing well. It brought him stress, how he had to kind of reset his mindset and believe that and remember that he's not doing this for the accolades, that he's doing it for the joy of winning, for playing for his team, enjoying each day, enjoying the weather that he gets to experience out here, and to be there for his team ultimately. And he ultimately said he's blessed to be in the situation that he is in, and that just is a testament to the leader that Sam Leavitt is. He really does show up for his team each and every day. There's a reason why he's on this Pat Tillman Leadership Council. There's a reason why players frequently point to him as a major leader of the team. There's a reason why he donates his NIL money back to the team, at least the NIL money that he earns through the NIL store. There's a reason why he donated $15,000 to the Pat Tillman Foundation. He's just a guy that leads by example. He always goes the extra mile. He doesn't act like he's above anybody else on the team just because he's the star quarterback. And I think that Sam Leavitt has potential to get back into those conversations. I think he has potential to win a second consecutive Big 12 title. Obviously, you have to take care of business against Utah. Texas Tech is going to be a major, major battle. And then there's a couple of games on the back end of the schedule that will be challenges as well. But I like the place that Arizona State is in right now, and I think Sam Leavitt is only going up from here. I think Dillingham's comments about him yesterday were right on the money. his improvements have been marked, his growth has been marked, and he's just hitting his stride in the post-Cam Scatterboot era. And Arizona State fans should feel very, very fortunate to have him as the program's quarterback, at least right now. And that is all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And I will catch you after tomorrow's practice. Thank you so much.